look, if these big time goats are running up like that, like the 1A guys, the Tom Brady's, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryant's, there's only so much time before the 1B guys start shooting up, and that's the Shaqs, the Duncans. Dirk Nowitzki could be in that category for basketball. When it comes to football, the first people I thought of was Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Marino, Elway. The next tier of the greatest of all time. Show me the rarities.
Scary shit, man. All right. Are we on? Let's go. Bro, we made 70% in 2 weeks on a fucking Tom Brady. And to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, no shit. But we're in that thing, man. That easy money.
The goats are rising, man, and it's not all of them. So it's the right cards. Like I've been seeing that Tom Brady Bowman. Like we had one available to us not long ago. It just had its lowest sale in the past 4 months, I think it's been.
Yeah.
But the reason is, well, at least the reason that I believe is because cards all pick up steam up till national, right? So people start buying stuff, they start hoarding it for national because they think that's where everyone's going to break out their money, right? Break out their dough, and it's true. You can get premiums at national. It's the hype, it's the buzz, it's the nostalgia of national. We're at national. We're going to spend money. We're going to overpay, and then it kind of hits its tipping point. It's kind of like the same thing that happens with metals. And what happens when metals get real high? Why do they go back down?
All the hype traders jumped on board a lot of times. It wasn't even about the metal anymore. It was like, we just heard that was hot.
And then what happens?
Everyone's like, oh, national high. Like, oh, and then it fucking tanks.
And why?
Sell off.
It's the sell off. Exactly. So now everyone's selling off.
People probably got on right before national, you're saying. Like they hopped on the train when it was at 90 miles an hour just to get it up to 100 and then hop off. Yeah. And then national's over. And now the guys that got on the train at 70 are hopping off because it's at 80.
Right. So there's a massive sell-off.
The downward cascade.
And since there's a lot of these cards, the sell-off is big, It's a high population card. So it can tank, There's a lot of them available right now. A lot of people are putting them on the market, So it's making the price go down. But that's why you go for scarcity, man, because there can't be a big sell-off on cards that are scarce. Like that Brady we got, I think it's the population's under 200. So like, how big of a sell-off could there be?
Well, that's the question. How low does it go? Usually when something has a good fundamental case underneath, a good foundation, then like, yeah, it drops because you can't. Hype traders are hype traders, and they leave when they're moving on to the next thing. There's nothing you can do about it. But if it has a good base case underneath, so we look at like gold, resilient, silver, even pretty resilient. Everyone watches Bitcoin now because that's still establishing itself in the market. But how low does Brady drop? Is it like a 10% drop?
So I don't think it's necessarily a drop on Brady across the board, but just that card. Yeah, so like the card was selling 30 days ago for 33. 2000 Bowman Chrome Tom Brady PSA 10 30 days ago sold for 33,000. It's down 14% pretty much. It's down to 28.4. That was the most recent sale on it.
From 33 down to 28, $5,000 on 30, so like 15%.
Yeah, 14% exactly, 13.94.
Okay, that's not bad. 15% downside. I mean, now if I'm buying Brady and I'm buying for the long term, I'd start looking at buying right now. Now, see, this is the whole goats versus gold concept. I don't know how low cards go. You can look at past charts for gold and see when these sell-offs happen, kind of like what you can expect for the drawdown. Not that I can't figure it out. I'm watching this happen in real time for these goats. It's kind of fun.
A lot of times what happens with the goats, especially the more scarce stuff, is there's really not too much of a drawback. Like once they hit their peak, they're kind of locked into that level. So they may slow down on the rise. They may not be shooting up as fast, but they don't really go back down past that point that they reached. At least when it comes to like Jordan, Brady, Kobe. I haven't saw like many big Kobe, Jordan, Brady cards that are actual scarce, actual rarity behind them. They're not pop 5,000, pop 6,000 like some of these Brady cards, them Bowmans. Once they hit a level, they kind of stay there. Even if they stop running up as fast as they do, they don't normally draw back down below a certain point that they reach.
Like what? Like nice run up and come down a touch.
Maybe a touch, yeah. and then it'll just flatline,
Yeah.
and then eventually it will hit that thing again. So what I think right now is what's going on with the goats. I think this is playing a major factor right now. Football and basketball season are in the off season, right? And it's kind of a lackluster baseball season. Judge has been out for the year. Otani's not having the year that he usually does. He's having a great year. He's probably going to win MVP still.
That's
but
scary about Otani.
well, he was pitching this year, so like, I guess he's kind of focusing more on the pitching. Takes a little bit out of him. He just hasn't had the as big of a. He's still having a great year. He's going to win. He's probably going to win MVP. He just hit his 30th home run. He's still batting 300. Just not the 50, 60 home.
So let me
run.
ask you about that, and I'm not changing the topic, but there's such high expectations for that guy. Does that fuck him up? Like you're saying, compared to any other baseball player, he's having a great season, but compared to what's expected of Otani, he's having a lackluster season. What does that do to his stock?
It's not affecting his stock because he's still in the MVP running. So even though it's a little bit lesser of a season home run wise than what he normally would have, he's having the great pitching season. I mean, for a large stretch of the year, he was a Cy Young candidate. Now he's stopping pitching because he has a little tweak or something like that and a little injury that they're shutting him down. They play him very careful. They don't want him to injure anything or anything like that. So if he even has the slightest bit of tightness, they'll shut him down on the pitching, and that's what they've done. But he's still having one of the greatest two-way season ever. No one's ever done that. A pitcher that's on a Cy Young level and a batter that's competing for MVP. So while he's not hitting as many home runs as he did the last few years, he's still having a great season. His team's still the favorite to win the World Series, and he's still.
So his stock is still rocking.
His stock's still rocking.
The billion-dollar boy.
The other thing about baseball right now is it's a little less exciting because everyone just expects the Dodgers to win it. It's like no one has a chance against the Dodgers pretty much, or at least that's how a lot of people feel. So it's not like baseball's a little bit more lackluster. There's also a lockout looming, and then with football and basketball being in the off season, if all the sports of current players are kind of dry, the GOATs are the thing that's in the spotlight. So what I'm thinking is once basketball and once football start back up, you're going to see the GOATs start to tail off. That super rise isn't going to be as much as they have been. It's going to go back to the active players, the performance-based players, the people who are in the NFL and the NBA that are performing well at that time. We'll see, but that's what I think.
This guy's the best, man. It's like rotating sectors in the stock market. Exactly. He's like, I'm rotating out of GOATs, man. I'm going back to active. You're a beast. You made like 3 calls this past week about stuff that was going to happen, and then the fucking little snapshots on IG came up like a couple days or a week later about it. Like there's the run up in Shaq. Then you specifically mentioned Tim Duncan, and then the Duncan popped up. Yep. And I happen to like that stuff because I love those players.
Peyton
and I was
Manning in Montana. I said them. Mm-hmm. So that's what I thought. I mean, if these big time GOATs are running up like that, like the 1A guys, the Tom Brady's, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryant's, there's only so much time before the 1B guys start shooting up, and that's the Shaqs, the Duncans. Dirk Nowitzki could be in that category for basketball. When it comes to football, the first people I thought of was Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Marino, Elway. The next tier of the greatest of all time.
Can I ask you something, dude? Can we start buying first-year downtowns? I love first-year basketball downtowns. I fucking love. Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Or is it the Kabooms? Kabooms, dude.
You like both?
Yeah, because they have an animation to them. That's sick.
Yeah, the first-year Kabooms are sick. But the first-year downtowns are also the cool ones. Those are the ones that say from downtown, like the LeBron we were looking at.
Yep. The downtowns also. So I guess that was the style. It's funny because they have like what I consider like 90s graphics. 90s graphics were like more colorful and like that.
Then first-year Kabooms, they have that cartoon style, that comic book style art on it.
Reminds me of the 90s. I love them shits. And their first year. So there's a lot of history going on. There's the legacy of the player, and then there's the scarcity and legacy of Kaboom and Downtown. Kaboom's come a hell of a long way. Now it's how many years later since they dropped?
Jeez, what was it?
At least a decade.
2014,
yeah, it's at least
2013.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm learning. So it's at least a decade. And so now those things have a legacy. When we deal with coins, we look for coins that you can consider legacy status. I don't mean from the 1900s. I mean like Silver Eagles and stuff that came out in the 1980s and 90s. After a certain amount of time, they can start to fetch a premium because it's been enough time now. And I'm looking for the similarities in the card game.
Exactly.
Fucking first year kabooms, man. They're fucking cool.
Well, that's what I've was been looking for. I kind of been trying to like look for little discrepancies in the market um, when it comes to like stuff that's scarce. We were talking about that Justin Herbert I saw the other day. So Justin Herbert 2020 downtown, the Optic was last selling for 3,500. There was a Donruss version for sale. It popped up on eBay for 3K, right? And someone beat us to it before we got the bid in or before we made the offer. Someone jumped on it, and I was looking at it. The 2020 Optic, the pop count was like 388 total graded copies, 250 tens. And you look at the Donruss version, it was like pop 98, pop 88 with 50 PSA 10s. So a quarter of the total population, and it was $500 less than the Optic version. That's a discrepancy in the market. That's something that over time is going to flip flop and change.
Yeah.
It's going to change. But that was just a cool card. That's the stuff that I'm looking for now. I picked up that Drew Brees the other day, the Donruss version, pop 18.
I like that fucking Breeze.
Super Bowl.
Didn't you get
downtown,
two of
pop
them?
18. No, just one.
What did you have two of the other day? Two Shaqs?
Two Shaqs.
Okay, all right.
The two Shaqs, yeah. Shaqs market's booming. It's another one, but yeah, stuff that's low pop, man. That's the scarce stuff, the rare stuff.
You make
That's the
good
stuff I
spots.
look for.
You're a fucking new age trader, bro. No bullshit. I mean, the stuff I've been watching my whole life with these guys in stocks, which I've been just trying to catch up because they can spot these discrepancies.
Spot
Because
quick.
they've been in the game since they were 18. These guys are in their 50s and 60s. Forget the age gap. It's just being in it their whole life. Like you've been looking at cards for so many years now that you can spot that.
Yeah, spot it quick. Pretty quick. You can,
And there's a lot of cards, man. There's a lot of stuff to learn how to spot and to have the eye for it. I watch a couple markets to keep it real simple for myself. I never like to manage a lot of names or anything like that. My fucking brain moves fast, but I keep it simple when it comes to the investing. That Herbert is nice. The Herbert's nice. And I noticed that too. We've done about 3 examples of the Donruss Optic having a higher pop than Donruss itself.
the way around. The Donruss Optic having a higher pop than the Donruss.
But like
yeah.
to a lot of people, the Optic is nicer, prettier, it stands out more, and so usually those ones go for more money.
Usually, yeah.
But where you sat there, you said it's got 1/4 of the population.
Yeah, there's certain years where they printed a lot less of the Donruss downtowns than they printed the Optic versions. So like when I see them cards and when they're available, I try and jump on them.
Do people ever say with their wallet, like, I don't give a fuck that it's 1/4 of the pop, I still want the Optic? Like, where basically population doesn't matter and it's just about how pretty the card is?
I mean, sometimes it happens, yeah, but it normally corrects itself over time. Like, for example, that's the same year as the Brady we have, 2020 downtowns. And it's weird because the Herbert Optic goes for more than the Herbert Donruss, but when it comes to the Brady, the Donruss goes for more than the Optic because it's much less pop. So, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's just sort of a thing where, like, the masses don't realize and, like, they'll pay more for the Optic. And it's even like if it's the same year, but we notice it for the Brady. We notice there's much more optic of the Brady than there is Donruss. The Donruss has a lot lesser pop, so it's worth more. But then that should apply to every one of them from that year. You know, every player from that year. And obviously, people just didn't realize it for the Brady, for the Herbert.
Nice.
But they will eventually.
Great spot, man. It's an unfair advantage that you have just because of the way your brain processes and how often you looked at cards and you intuitively know the pricing of the different brands. That gives you what they call the unfair advantage.
Yeah.
You can look at a card and just know like that. It's like guys that buy like watches. They know how to look at all the different kinds of watches and just put a price on it. And so they can make money. It's like the guys that find good deals at auction. If cards are being sold on whatnot at auction,
Yeah.
the guy that just knows how to price something like that, that's a little unfair advantage he has that he can take advantage, that he can exploit.
Yeah, I see some guys make videos and like there's cards that are like 101s or stuff like that or haven't sold in 10 years and stuff like that. And they just know, man, because they know the market. They know what these cards in that 50 to 100 to $250,000 cards, what they do. And like I'll see people make videos and they'll be like, yeah, this card has X amount of days left on auction. I think it's going to end up around 75, 80K. And they'll be like, but they'll be within like 2, 3K of what the thing actually ends up doing. So like, you just get a feel for it, you know?
It's going to be very interesting that over the next 5 years, gold is like a 12% a year asset over hundreds of years. But I think over the next 5, 6 years, we're going to see like a 12,000 gold price, which puts us at about a 200% run up from here. So over 5 years, it's like 40% a year.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think it's cool that we're doing goats in gold
Mm-hmm.
because over the next 5 years, we're going to track the shit out of the both of them. And like, I can't call it.
Yeah, we'll
I
compare 'em.
can't call it. We're going to have both.
Yep.
God bless us. But like, I really can't call which one's going to do better. Gold's a little bit more liquid. That's the only thing I can come up with. Like with the cards, you have to take delivery on the card and then go find that collector for it.
Yeah.
However, the collector base for cards is growing so quick, so fast. There's so many outlets that like liquidity is not really a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Not as liquid as gold. And for guys like us, it doesn't matter. For institutions who have to think about buying $100 million worth of sports cards, they have to find an ETF where like the coins are custodied somewhere, the cards, I mean, and they could take a position and they could take an ownership in the basket and then sell their shares in the market. Because you don't take $100 million, you don't take a delivery of physically $100 million worth of sports cards. But for us, it doesn't matter. There's liquidity.
Like you said, it's not as liquid as gold. It's not like you can call up a place at any time and be like, all right, I get spot minus whatever and just dump it right then and there. You got to have a little more connections. I mean, for me, there's certain stuff that, yeah, I know I can make a call and dump it at 95% of the last sale price pretty much any time. So, I mean, the liquidity's growing, man. It's evolving. The liquidity's there, not as liquid as gold, but you're the right person and you know the right people, it's pretty damn liquid.
Do you think you could pick up the phone right now with a hot card and call and get pretty much the same bid from 10 different people?
Yeah, I mean at least five. At least
Right.
5 different people, yeah.
Gold is the same, dude. You call 10 shops, you're going to get similar pricing, but not exact.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of these repackers out there. There's some of these breakers and stuff like that, and those certain types of cards, the case hits, the stuff that they know they move, the stuff that they know all the masses like, they'll just grab it at 95%. There's people that pay 100% for like big goats and stuff like that all day long because it doesn't really matter to them what they pay for the card. They put it in a repack, and whatever they pay for the card, they just position the price of their repacks higher. They're gonna say they'll set new comps for cards, and they won't care because then they'll just advertise the ceiling of their next repack as a $70,000 card. If the card last sold for 60 and now they buy it for 70, they're not going to say it's a $60,000 card as the ceiling of this repack. They're going to say it's a $70,000 card, and then that's going to boost up the price of every one of the packs because the higher your ceiling, the more you can charge.
That's
for each
fucked
pack.
up. That
That's what
fucks
they
the
do.
market up.
That's what they do.
That's where a market can collapse. When you have these like, that's like the equivalent of institutions stepping in and buying real estate. There's an unlimited amount of money inside of like an institution or the US government to like buy real estate or a hedge fund, let's say. Because it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. They don't give a fuck about 40, 50, 60K when it comes to the price.
Yep.
And so they drive the prices up.
Yep.
Also, they take these houses off the market.
Yep.
And so there's less houses. And that drives the rest of the prices up for the retail public. But that kind of buying where they're like, I don't care that it's worth 10 grand. I'll pay 13.
Yeah.
Like you're causing crazy asset price inflation. That's
They do.
concerning to me.
Well, they do that. They definitely do. And then they'll offer you a 90% buyback on the card, so they'll end up with it right back for 90% of what they paid for it. It's like they're fucking cracking it over the head 3 times.
They're really changing the comps because it's not just one purchase of the card. Now it's 2.
Well, the second one is off market, so I mean that's a person-to-person transaction. So
Right,
it's not a
only
registered
one.
comp.
Okay, so when you look at comps on cards, dude, when you see something, a wacky comp, do you automatically think repacker? Is that one of your, as you're going through like your decision-making process, take me through that.
Sometimes, yeah.
You're like 8,500, 8,900, 9K, 10-1. That could be normal, right? 89, 89.
Could be if there's like a run up. Sometimes if I'll try and take into account the other comps. Like if it goes, let's say a card is 6K, 6,500, 7K, 75. That's a natural. It looks like a natural run up.
Yeah.
You know? But if it's 4K, 4.3, 4.2, 4.1, 4.5, and then it jumps to 6. You're like, and then the next that's like, nah, that little 6 is weird, that's off base. So I'll stay away from that. Like when I'm pricing cards out like that, when I'm buying, like I'd be like, that would normally be one I'd stay away from. Be like, listen, the last comp 6, that's high. I don't want to buy based off a high comp. Sometimes I'll see a natural progression and it's a high comp, and I'll be like, all right, that makes sense. It's a natural progression. The card's on its way up, and I think there's room for it to keep going up. But like in a situation like that, sometimes I'll be like, listen, I'm not gonna buy it off you at that evaluation. I'd only feel comfortable valuing it at the 4.5, because that's where it was selling at beforehand. This seems like a high comp. If the next one comes in at 4.5, back to the level it was living at for the majority of the time, then I'm fucked. So I can't buy it at that. So I'll either politely pass unless you are willing to sell it at that lower evaluation.
Yeah, I would I would do the same exact thing, dude. Same shit. What I want to ask you here, I want to know: is there anything wacky that you look for in the market that you think is something that like you're into that other people really aren't, or something that you've learned about or that you like and you exploit? Like, hey, I buy these cards because I know I can quickly turn them over and do this.
Well, I mean, for the longest, it was the downtowns. I mean, I knew that I had a good eye for sourcing them in good condition, and I know I'm good at prepping the cards and cleaning the cards, and I knew that I could get a 3X in most cases if I graded them out to a 10. And I mean, we were hitting at like over an 80% rate on the downtowns and getting 10s when we were grading them. But now it's not as easy to do it because they're not coming out each year. The best time to buy the new stuff is when it first releases.
Yeah.
Because the people pull them out the packs and then they sell them raw because they want the money back quick. They don't want to wait for the grading. They sell quick. Now, if you're buying raw downtowns, which haven't been released in about a year at this point, it's most likely a reason that it's raw.
Yep.
Someone would have graded it by now.
Isn't it crazy that when you find this way to kind of like exploit something in an industry or take advantage of something that like it only lasts so long? Now it's like, what else you got?
Now I'm trying to figure out what that niche is for me in Tops. One of the ones that I like that I've been thinking about is called Tops just did this thing called Panini had a set called Timeless Moments, and they would take like some of the biggest moments in basketball, and it was like I don't know, like the Ray Allen shot when he hit the shot for the Heat. Like the Kawhi Leonard shot with the triple bounce when he beat the Sixers, like famous moments, and they would take the picture of that moment and they would have the player sign it. It was called Timeless Moments, and they were big cards. Tops is doing something similar to that now.
What's it called?
I forget what it's something moments. It may be Timeless Moments too. I forget, but whatever it is, like I saw the one. It was one of LeBron's big moments from the Cavs, and like that was a really cool one. I was looking at them. I think they would be cool. They're a new release. You buy them raw, and you could probably grade them for they're relatively cheap cards. They go for a couple $100. The raw, the base ones, $200, $300 for the base ones, and they could be a cool card to grade. I don't know. That's what I've been trying to figure out. What's going to be my new niche for buying raw and grading? Because I had a niche with the downtowns. I knew I could buy downtowns in bulk. I was very comfortable with knowing what the grade was going to be just from looking it over. And I'm trying to figure out what that next thing is going to be for me.
You reminded me of the LeBron downtown. It's just unrelated, but you said LeBron. We were fucking trying to land that deal.
Yeah.
That was good. I just want a good LeBron, dude.
I want a good LeBron too. I feel the same way.
I want to hold it for the 2 years, bro. So let the guy retire. Let's see what happens. I think either way, over a long enough period of time, we'll make money on it. He's hot right now. This is my take, right? He's hot right now. If it doesn't go well with the Sixers, but I think is unlikely that it doesn't go well. I think he's gonna do well there. Stock goes up. That's the upside. Downside, he doesn't do that well, but he's fucking LeBron James. The second he retires, it's gonna be the story headline.
Yep.
And you're gonna see his stock go through because he just reached legacy category. How's my
That's what I think too. I think the worst case scenario is he has a slow and steady incline. And that's even if he doesn't do well with the Sixers, which, like you said, is highly unlikely.
Right,
if he does well with the Sixers, he's going to pop off. He's going to go great. If he goes deep into the playoffs, if he makes it to the finals, like, let's say he doesn't even win a championship. If you buy him now and you hold to the finals and he's in the finals and then you exit while he's in the finals, let's say even if he loses, you're going to crush it. Because look what happened with Wembanyama. I mean, his cards, just for his silver prism, it went from being worth $900 before the season started to selling for $4,500, $5,000 in the finals before he lost. And then he tanked like 30% after he lost. But if you exited while he was in the finals, you made your money, dude.
Yep.
5x.
Yep.
And I think LeBron is going to be a similar thing. He's a GOAT. He's going to slowly incline regardless of what he does. And if he does well, he's going to boom. And it's in our city, man. Like, it's in the state, in the city we live in. That's my home team. Like, we have to get a piece of it. If he does well and we don't have our hand in that, we're going to be like, what the fuck? We just watched that smack us in the face and didn't do anything about it.
Well, you know, you said the other day, you said that this is the city in Philadelphia where more people do sports cards, hobby shit, memorabilia than any other fucking city in the country.
They're the city where the fan base spends the most money, whether it's memorabilia, jerseys, cards, you name it. Philadelphia spends on their sports teams.
They're buying LeBron. A crazy thing that happened with stocks is when we were watching Apple and Microsoft and Nvidia run up, you kind of wonder how big can something stock grow? How big can the market cap for these companies grow? And I'm thinking about that with LeBron. Like, his stock is so high. Like, can he double again? It's the same thought, same feeling. And the answer is like, yeah, probably.
Well, think about it, bro. 20 years ago when fucking Mickey Mantle cards hit 500K or whatever it was, 30, 40 years ago, however long it was, when Mickey Mantle rookie cards hit $500,000 or hit $250,000, people are like, there's no fucking way that can go any further. There's no way it can go any further. And it just keeps going further. Stuff like that, it can keep going.
It's the same thing. Like, can this house go up to $600K? When I got to know it, it was a $300,000 house, and the answer is like, yeah, fuck yeah. I've been watching Levitt houses my whole life. I grew up in Levittown, New York, now Levittown, PA, and I just watch what these Levitt houses do in both cities, and it's fucking, it's unreal.
The same design in both cities.
Yeah, dude, same exact houses I've been looking at my whole life. So unfair advantage. I know the Levitt house really, really well, and I'm in the recovery capital of the East Coast, being in Levittown, and so I'm able to do these recovery houses, you know, and give people a nice dignified place to live. And it does well for me income-wise. But I'm just very familiar with the house, and I'm familiar with the recovery circle. That's my unfair fucking advantage.
I was about to say, you're familiar with the recovery circle as well. I mean, you've been involved in it. You have family that's been deeply involved in it, you know, so, like, you have a good unfair advantage.
We're always looking for that niche. And, like, sometimes I sit and think, like, wow, God put me in that position. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Also, the asset, like, I'm very big on, like, staying away from something really unstable. Like, neurotically big on that because I don't want to lose, you know? And so, like, rental real estate, really good, man. Good management, find right people, things I can control, management, the people. I can carry that. But the real volatile stuff is not for me. And so rental real estate is my thing, but being able to get that outsized return through cash flow when the recovery houses. That's why I like the GOATs. That's why I like gold. Like, the super volatile stuff is just really hard to fathom.
Yeah, I mean, that's like in sports, the super volatile stuff is like buying rookie quarterbacks. They're hot when they get drafted, dude, and they can fucking shoot up quick. They have one good game, they'll be up 100%, 200%, and then, like,
people feed off that shit.
By the end of the year, fuck, dude, like, I've watched it happen so many times. Like, in the C.J. Stroud, when he was a rookie, had a great rookie season. Shit was going crazy. I mean, like, he was on par with Brady at the time. Like, same thing with Jaden Daniels, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, all these guys, every one of them that was the best rookie quarterback of their class, their value was insane, and none of them are where they are during that time.
See, I don't buy that. I don't even get I don't get excited about, I'm more patient, disciplined. I don't get super hyped about the possibility. People buy small cap stocks for that. That's a small cap stock, just meaning a company that's up and coming, like the quarterback is, like Stroud was. Yeah. The Russell 2000 is full of those, and it's like, yeah, you're right. When they hit, through the roof.
Well, they're quick trades. You got to be on it. You can't just, like, tuck them and go to bed on them, because if you tuck them and go to bed on them, you could wake up to a nightmare, dude. Like, you gotta quick trade them, man. You gotta be on it. You gotta jump out you gotta jump off it when that stock is up. Like, you gotta pick the time. And, like, it's hard to pick the top, but, like, you just have to pick a time. All right, I'm gonna jump out if he goes up 100%. If he goes up 200%, I'm gonna jump out. And you just gotta make sure that you don't regret it if it goes up another 100%, because eventually it's gonna come back down.
Good traders will talk about how you don't have to time the top. You make your money off the meat in the middle.
Exactly.
And so, you just want to get out within 5 or 10% of the top.
Exactly.
All right, last two questions. Do you consider yourself more an investor or a trader?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, it's kind of 50-50 because you kind of do have to do both. You got to have a balanced portfolio where you do both. You want to get your quick trades to make your capital to reinvest into what you're holding on to.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, if I handed you $25,000 right now and said, "Go for it," what are you buying? What are you looking at right now, today, August 20th, 2026?
Shit, I would probably have bought that LeBron downtown, dude. I would probably buy a monster LeBron right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on right now.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get, a big boy LeBron.
Me
I
too.
love that LeBron downtown. We had a chance at one for 21K and we were thinking about it and it sold for 25 2 days later. So it already went up that quick.
It's fucking unreal. Someone's gonna get caught holding the bag, like stuck, where they're like, "Oh, don't worry. If you buy this, you're guaranteed in 2 weeks going to be worth more." Like, because that's the market we're in. It doesn't last forever. I think we're playing it smart because we're making our picks without just being completely out the window,
Yeah.
just buying everything.
I think if you buy the right stuff and the right players, you're pretty fucking safe, dude. Like, it's like, I think it's like similar to gold, similar to real estate, dude. Like, yeah, there could be a crash, but like, take something pretty fucking serious for it to happen.
Sports isn't going anywhere. So with a long-term view, if you're buying the right brand of card and the right player, like I'm still on that. I stick to
the
that.
early years, rookie years, true scarcity, and the right player, man, goats. And I think you're pretty fucking safe with that.
I want to find the first year kabooms, man. Yo, good combo, bro.
Sir.
All right. Nice.